Hi, welcome back to Journey into Stories. Today I'm going to do I think it's like a week and a half, we'll just say weekly check-in for January 24th, 2025. This week I read 4 books and I also DNF'd a book, which I feel so bad about, but I'm going to try and get better because there's too many books in the world to read. And if you're not enjoying a book, it could be either not the right time to read the book or for various reasons, put it down, go to something else. You could pick it up later in the future. That's what I'm telling myself. So the first book I read is a book that I've wanted to read for such a long time. And then I actually watched the movie. I think it was on Amazon Prime. And it's Flowers in the Attic by V.C. Andrews. And it's this book right here. They were a perfect family, golden and carefree, until a heartbreaking tragedy shattered their happiness. Now, for the sake of an inheritance that will ensure their future, the children must be hidden away out of sight as if they never existed. Kept on the top floor of their grandmother's vast mansion, their loving mother assures them it will be just for a little while. But as brutal days swell into agonizing months and years, Kathy, Chris, and twins Corey and Carrie realize their survival is at the mercy of their cruel and superstitious grandmother, and this cramped and helpless world may be the only one that they ever know. Again, the children are kept away. That it starts off very loving. You have a family with 4 kids, mother, dad. Something happens, and like I said, they move in with the grandmother in a mansion, and they have to stay up in the attic, hidden away, and acted as if they don't even exist. So the mother can inherit an inheritance. I'm not going to go into the backstory as to what's going on with that, but it's chilling how people can treat their own flesh and blood. And this was pretty spooky. I did give it 4 stars, and then I watched the movie. I think there's 2 different movies, a really older version, maybe it was in the 80s, and then an updated version. I watched the older version. I didn't do this on purpose, but I read this book and enjoyed my time. And like I said, the family members, how horrible they treat the children. It was not a segue, but then I pre-purchased this book, The House of My Mother by Sherry Frankie. And this I gave 5 stars. I couldn't have done that really any better. Read this book, a fiction book, and then read the true story of what Sherry Frankie explains and went through. She's the daughter of the YouTuber 8 Passengers, and it just is chilling going from Flowers in the Attic to The House of My Mother. The stories that Sherry tells in this book, it was all, reading it, you had to have thought this is fiction also. It just was unimaginable what they went through, what they experienced. I'm not going to give away her stories. I would highly suggest reading this if you're interested. I think she deserves every dime that she gets for writing this book. It was incredible. I felt so bad. There were times I had tears in my eyes. There's just certain things that you can't get back in life, and the experiences that she went through. And I believe she is the oldest, I believe. I think there were 6 children altogether. And then I think it was in 2023 that her youngest brother escaped the house that they were being held in and abused in, and got to a neighbor, and then the neighbor called police, and then him and his younger sister were rescued, and then all of this stuff came out. But it was a little kind of suspicious with certain videos that she would post involving, I think one of the videos was something about her 5-year-old didn't make lunch one day and didn't take it to school with her. And then the teacher called her, and Ruby Franke, the mother, was like, well, I'm not bringing her lunch. I'm teaching her a lesson. She's going to learn. You don't make your lunch, you don't go. And I just think, God, I used to, run to the school all the time for anything my kids had needed. So it was kind of heartbreaking, this book, to be quite honest. Very strong woman she is through the book. You could gather that. And it wasn't just abuse that she suffered at the hands of her mother either. Individuals took advantage of her, and she was in situations where, let's just say, she was taken advantage of. And it was really sad. It did bring tears to my eyes. It was a riveting book, and I would highly suggest it. Again, I gave it 5 stars. I'm glad I pre-ordered it. I think I got it like the second week of January. And this is one of those books that I wasn't going to leave on my shelf long. I mean, I got it and I read it right away. And I think the audiobook, it is narrated by Sherry Franke. So it was a wonderful book. This is a sequel to a book that I read for a Journey Reads. It was The Plot, and I did enjoy that book. But Jean Hanff Kralitz, I feel like I'm really butchering that author's name. This is the sequel, and I gave this one 3 stars. I really liked it, but when I compare it to the plot I really enjoyed. I'm not going to go into detail about this because I don't want to spoil anything from book 1. This is book 2. But I don't regret buying it. I'm happy I read it. And but I did give this one 3 stars. Didn't enjoy it as much as the original. And then another book I read, it's called Stiff by Mary Roach. It was talked about in a group that I belong to on social media. It's like donating your body to science. There was a discussion. That's not the group I belong to. But we did have a very close friend of the family who did that back when I was in high school. He donated his body to science. It always interested me to not know what happens. So I heard about this book, and I gave this one 4 stars. And it talked about all kinds of things, like if you donate your body to science, where your body can end up. It was read with care. I listened to it, and it just showed a lot of care and compassion about what happens with your body, and people with the dissecting, if that's the right term, with their cadavers in medical school. And it was just neat. And then there were some stories about being involved with like car accidents. That only really shows what can happen with a body. It tells you everything you could possibly know that what could happen to your body. Donation of organs, or it talks about different types of burials, and anything that you could possibly want to know, that book discusses. And again, we had a very close friend of the family that donated his body to science, and I always thought, what happens? And it's just all about care and compassion. And some was a little humor, which was okay. It wasn't tacky, the humorous parts, but it was really interesting, a very interesting take on what can happen when you donate your body. And then another book, looking on my Goodreads, this I got 5 hours into. I do not own it. And it's called All the Colors of the Dark by Chris Whitaker. I have a certain thing with DNFing books. And I said, I really don't want to butcher a book in a rating. So I'll say, you know, maybe this should have been a DNF for me because of the timing of reading or various reasons. It could not be my type of book at the time or forever, you know. I've heard so much good things about All the Colors of the Dark. I listened to 5 hours. And when I tell you, I can't say how many times I fell asleep, which, you know, a 5-star book, I could fall asleep. How many times I was dreading hit and play, how many times I would say, okay, you know, it's time to listen to this book. And then I would find myself scrolling social media things instead of listening, or push and play on the audiobook and not even listening and what's happening. I could not get into this book. So I'm going to say it's me. It's not the book, because I have heard wonderful things about this book. And I'm going to try a new thing. Instead of saying should have been a DNF, because I want to personally give it less than 3 stars if I really do not like a book, I said, I'm not doing that. I'm going to DNF it. There's too many books that I want to get to. I'm looking at the stack of books on my floor that I just did a video on, 25 books and series that I want to get to this year. So I have a pile of books right here on the floor from just filming. And, you know, I don't have time to keep listening or keep reading physically a book that I'm just not getting anything out of. And I was not enjoying my time with that book. So I DNF'd it, and I don't usually do that. I keep thinking it's about to get better, or I'll text somebody that I know they've read the book. Is this worth listening to or reading? And yeah, it's going to be patient. It's slow burn, whatever. And I hate DNFing a book, but I really am going to start to make that a priority this year and in going into the future, further years, because, you know, I don't want to suffer through a book when that's such a joyous thing to read. And then I have a yucky taste in my mouth because I don't enjoy it. So take it for what it is. It's me. You know, I'm not going to blame the book, but I wasn't getting anything from it. So, okay. The dog video, the puppy video that we did for the month of January to read my book of the month books. I actually had read 56 Days. So I had Sophie pick a different book, and she picked Dinner for Vampires. So I'm going to substitute that book for 56 Days. I did give that 3 stars. I think at the beginning-ish of last year I read it. And The Wedding People, that was Indy's book pick. I'm not done with it. I'm almost halfway. To be honest, I don't even remember what genre this book was under. And I'm not knowing, still halfway through, but I am loving this book. I love this book so far, The Wedding People. So with that, I hope you're doing well. I hope you're taking care of yourself, take care of one another, and don't be afraid to DNF anything. Trust me, DNF it. There's too many books that you'll enjoy so much better. You know, DNF it. Take it from me, because this is new and I don't like doing it. I feel guilty. I listened to 5 hours of it and I'm like, I could listen to another 10 hours. No, I can't do it, guys. So anyway, until the next video, I will talk to you soon, and I hope you're enjoying whatever you're doing, and I hope you're reading something amazing. So bye, guys. Have a great day.